So good morning students, I am Dipanshu Koli, your science teacher, and today we are going to study chapter number 7, the living and the non-living. So let us start the chapter. So in the chapter, first of all we will read about things around us. That is, what are the things that are found around us. Like, you know that the presence of life on earth is a unique attribute to the planet. We see a variety of living organisms around us. These organisms not only interact among themselves but also with their surrounding environments. So around you, you will find so many different objects, and we can classify them in living organisms and non-living things. So like dogs, plants, or any other animal, those are the living beings around you. Or like table, chair, car, buildings, these are the non-living things around you. Both the things are very interconnected to each other and are very important to each other. So we will read about them in this chapter. So the first topic is similarities between living beings and non-living things. So are there some similarities between these two things? Let us study about them. There are a few similarities between them. For example, both living beings and non-living things are made up of matter. They both occupy space and have mass. That is, any living being around you or any non-living thing around you that has some mass in it, some space it takes around us. So these are the similarities between living beings and non-living things. What are the differences between living and non-living things? So there are so many differences between living beings and non-living things. So we will classify them into 9 topics which we are going to read in this chapter. So the topics are structural organization, growth, movement, food and nutrition, respiration, excretion, reproduction, definite lifespan, and response to stimuli. So these 9 are the characteristics of living beings which they possess and by which they are different from the non-living things. So let us start from the structural organization. So as you have seen any wall around you, you will see that it is made up of small bricks. So you can see a full wall, and you can also see those small bricks out of which that wall is made. Similarly, all the living beings around us, whether they are plants, animals, or us, that is human beings, we all are made up of very small tiny particles which are called cells. These cells divide further to form new cells. That's how we grow. So the basic building block or structural unit of all living organism is a cell. Now there are two types of organisms that are present in our life. One is single celled organism, that is unicellular. So single cell means one cell. So these organisms have only one cell in them, like amoeba, paramecium, and bacteria and yeast. These are the single cell organism, that is they possess only one cell. And all the other organisms which have two or more cells, they are called multicellular organisms. All the other organisms like plants, dogs, cats, and humans, we all are multicellular organisms. Now bigger the living organism, larger is the number of cells present in it. In this figure you can see the arrangement of cells which can be seen under a microscope. So microscope is an instrument which helps us to see the cells. Now the second property is growth. As you all observe that all the living beings around you, whether it is a small plant or a small baby, in the time it grows and it increases in size, in weight, and it also increases in the space it is taking. This is called the growth. So all living organisms grow. Growth is the increase in size and volume of the body. So how the growth happens? When the cells grow and increase in sizes, it is shown in the full body, and we can see that we are growing. Like puppies are grow in dogs, kittens grow in cats, and a small seed can grow into a very big and large plant. So this is the second property that is growth. Now all the living organisms have a different type of growth pattern. Like plants, they grow throughout their life. Till the last moment of their life they keep growing. But the human beings and animals, they grow only for a certain period. You can see that your height will increase only for some age, like 20 years, 25 years. After that your height increasing stopped. So only for a certain time all the living beings grows. Now non-living things, they never grow. They are of the same size as they are. Now let us move ahead to the third property, that is movement. Now movement is a very important feature of living organism. It may be external movement, for example walking, moving our hands or talking, and it may be any external movement like blood is moving inside our body. The food we eat, it moves from our mouth to the stomach and then to our digestive system. So the movement is also called locomotion when we move from one place to another. So most of the animals exhibits locomotion when they move from one place to another in the search of food. Some plants also show movements but in a very slight manner, like the Mimosa pudica plant, that is called a touch me not plant. When you touch it, its leaves drooped. And some of the insectivorous plants like pitcher plant, they also move their leaves and their body structures a little to capture some insects. Now the next property is food and nutrition. All living organisms need food for survival. You also take three times of food in a day, like breakfast, lunch and dinner. And if you don't take food, you feel weak. Whenever you take food, you feel that you have get some energy. So actually by food we get energy to do all the works. Some organisms prepare their own food, like all the green plants. They are called autotrophs, that is they are making their food themselves. And other organisms depend on plants and animals for their food. They are called heterotrophs, like all the human beings, and most of the animals are heterotrophs. Now next property is respiration. What is respiration? The food that we eat, it reacts with oxygen brought by the air we breathe in to release energy. This process is called respiration. So the respiration is a process in which the food that we eat, it reacts with the oxygen and it converts into the energy. So it is a very important process. By this process only the food that we eat is converted into energy. Now all the living animals and human beings, they all do this respiration process, and plants also do respiration. However, plants do photosynthesis in which they absorb carbon dioxide gas and they release oxygen gas, but they also do respiration in which they absorb oxygen gas and they release carbon dioxide gas. For this, plants have very small pores which are called stomata. Next topic is excretion. So what is excretion? As you have learned in the previous topics, that whenever we eat food, that is converted into energy. But not all the food is converted into energy. There are some waste particles in the food which has to be kept out of our body. So the unwanted or wasteful substances, when they remove from the body, this process is called excretion. So in animals, after digestion, the undigested food is removed from the alimentary canal in the form of feces. This is called defecation. Excess of salt and water are also removed from our body in the form of urine and sweat. Also the plants also do the process of excretion. They produce some waste items which are also useful for us, like gums and resins. These gums and resins are used by humans for making varnishes and adhesives. The rubber is also an excreted part of a plant. Now the next property is reproduction. All living organisms reproduce, that is they can produce the same organism of their kind, and this process is called reproduction. Humans give birth to babies. Most of the animals give birth to babies. Some animals lay eggs and their young ones hatch from their eggs. For example, birds, frogs, fishes and snakes. Plants reproduce through seeds. Most of the plants reproduce through seeds. Some plants can also reproduce from their stems or from their roots. Now living things, as you see, that they cannot reproduce. Now come to the next property, that is definite lifespan. So definite lifespan means that all the living things which are around us has a fixed time for which they will live. They will when they get birth, then they will grow and they will come to their matured state, and after that they will grow old and they have to die. So all the living organisms around us have a particular number of years for which they will live, and that is called a definite lifespan. Now in the following table you can see the lifespan of different animals, which is very varying. Like mayfly can live only for a single day, but a chimpanzee can live for 59 days. Some more examples are here, like Asian elephant can live for 86 years, a tortoise can live for 190 years. Now the last property is response to stimuli. So it is also very important property, like whenever we are touched or get some reactions in our environment, we give another reaction to that. That is called a response to stimuli. For example, if you touch a hot pan, you immediately take out your hand from there. If there is very wind is blowing around you, you will close your eyes to protect them. So these are called stimulus. That is, anything that triggers a reaction in an organism is called a stimulus, and the reaction that occurs is called a response. So this hot pan is a stimulus and we take out our hand, that is a response. Also some plants also show these type of stimulus, like Mimosa pudica plant that we have also discussed earlier. When we touch it, it droops its leaves. The sunflower, it always face the sun. Also most of the plants show the property which is called phototropism. That is, they are always attracted to the source of light. So if the source of light in any particular direction, the plant will also grow in the same direction. The roots also show geotropism. What does it mean by geotropism? Geotropism means attraction to the earth. That is, all the roots of the plants, they show positive geotropism. That is, they only grow downward, that is towards the earth. And the stems, they always show positive geotropism. That is, they always grow upward, that is against the earth. So these are the properties of living things which makes them differ from non-living things. I hope you have understood this chapter very properly. Thank you very much.